Hello and welcome. I am your toxic gatekeeper, the liberal mooch, the uneducated, childlike elitist, the man who makes gaming no fun, the OGGM on the night of the apocalypse. And we are back and Path of Exile for probably the last time, because I don't think I'm going to play this league much longer. Neither of my builds worked. So let's talk about builds for real quick before we talk about my preference in video games. So the big thing about Path of Exile is coming up with very effective builds. This is a build crunch heavy game. Now I love the character development. Obviously this could never work in a role-playing game. I mean, maybe it could, I don't know. But just, I like the idea that you start in the middle and then you can just sort of specialize in whatever way you want. And you can try and experiment and watch the build grow as you level. Unfortunately, I have played this game since beta. And I have played hundreds of builds that streamers recommend. I have actually done something I thought I never would do and spent money on this game to try and improve characters, not just with stupid transmogs like my doggo here. My dog was free, but I have spent money on transmogs. But I have, done things like, here's $10, give me some chaos orbs and stuff, shit like that, things I swore I would never do just because I wanted to follow a suggested build. And the build I am playing now, Essence Drain Trickster, which is said to be one of the top builds in this league, and people have, shown videos of them doing amazing shit with it, but I have followed the build exactly as printed. I have got almost every piece of suggested where that the person that, the 2 or 3 different builds that I copied showed. I mean, I'm missing 1 or 2 things just because I don't have the mats for it yet. I mean, I could do it. I could definitely, if I wanted to spend the time, make this a 6 link and put something on these boots to try and make it more effective. But I played it, and about level 45, it just started not being functional. It was too mana heavy. I was dying too frequently, even with defenses in the 10,690 evasion. I mean, nothing should ever hit me if my evasion is this high, and yet I die regularly running, tier 1 maps, tier 1 white maps that you should be able to run at level 60. I'm dying in at level 80, even though the build is exactly the way it's supposed to be. But the main problem is the mana just doesn't work. The build doesn't work. It's too mana effective. It's not defensive enough. So how is it that if I'm running the build exactly the same way as the streamers are running the build, and you see that they're so successful, and yet I am not? How is that? Well, first, I think anybody who is just getting into this game probably shouldn't. They're probably better games by now. I mean, it's been around since 2013, and it really hasn't changed that much. Second, don't follow a build exactly. Follow a build as a suggestion. Like, here's a gameplay I want to try, like fireballs or essence drain or summoning zombies. But just don't expect to be ever as good as the streamers, like Lifting Nerd or Michaelis, because I think they're cheating. I think they are either editing footage, so the footage you see, even when they're supposedly playing live, is whatever, or they have some hack that makes them effective. Because I've run with guys who are level 80, 90, and have, super builds, and I've seen them falter as much as I do. Maybe less because they're a little better with me. And I'll admit, I suck at this game. Whatever the trick to this game is to be good at, I'm not getting, even if I follow builds and follow playstyles exactly. Maybe my computer just isn't fast enough. I don't know. But that said, top-down action RPG, Diablo, roguelike clones, I love them. I mean, because you only play one character. The builds are usually very simple and very effective. You can get through the boring shit really quick. and get to the I want to see stuff, you know, because if you've played through Diablo 3 or Path of Exile, Act 1 through 10, 3 or 4 times, you've seen everything the game has to offer. And very rarely is there any evolution in the game. Now, like, you know, if we'll throw in leagues, you know, where every 3 months, every 6 months, we change the league where there's some new trick. This league's trick is the heist. I've shown you guys the heist before. I'll show you to you again. Let's go to my hideout, my spooky graveyard hideout, which I may need to change. So if you don't remember the heist, we go to the Rogue Harbor, and each one of these guys that you see with names over them have a certain set of skills, and you go and you get your heist. Here's a heist right there. And then you plan your heist, you go to her, this lady here, and she will prepare the heist, and then you go and run the heist, which is like a small map, which occasionally has good drops, but mostly the drops suck. And then when you're done with the heist, you can come and sell things to this guy for more of these things. And all you can do with these things is run more heists and hire dudes. Now the goal is to equip your favorite dudes with gear. See how there's little spots in here for gear, so you can give them like little, you know, trinkets and stuff, a lot like followers in Diablo. Obviously, they can't carry as much as you can, and then equipping them with the guild makes them a little bit more successful, which means you can run the heists a little bit faster and get a little bit more stuff. But I've run about 100 heists, from basic white map heists to a red map unique heist. The drops are not worth the effort. And since the only thing you can do with the markers is buy more heist or equip more dudes, instead of, like, you know, in World of Warcraft where you can use League faction specific currency to buy things from the currency guys, whether, I mean, it could just be transmogs or gear or toys, whatever, but, you know, that would be cool if you could do that. But the fact that it's worthless, it's a worthless league. I mean, the drops are not worth the time and effort. The maps are annoying and very slow, and the rewards from this guy are just not worth the amount of time. So all in all, this is a failure of a league. But this is what they do. They do this every 3 months, 6 months. They'll try and make the standard blah more exciting by, you know, throwing in a league. So you go through the exact same thing you went through before, trying to speed through Act 1 through 10 as quickly as you can to get to whatever the special thing, maps. But really the end game is just running maps. I mean, that's what all the game is about. And then you're hoping that you see maps you never saw before, you fight things you never did before. You know, you spread out the thing and try and explore all the atlas and kill all the rare bosses and get better and better gear. You know, so the end of the game is always just basically grinding for gear, trying to see something you've never seen before. And since Path of Exile hasn't changed since 2013, all you want to do now is get through Act 1 to 10, so you can do maps. And I mean, and unlike Diablo, where there is LFG and people actually help each other and, you know, try and get people up to maps as quickly as possible so that everybody can be running the rifts rather quickly, because Diablo players understand nobody wants to go through the acts anymore. We just want to get to the rifts, run the rifts, see the shit we haven't seen before, and get the gear we haven't gotten before, and see how effective our build can be. But the Path of Exile players are very selfish. It is very, you know, just me, obviously, because of the streamer mentality. Everybody wants to, you know, get good enough to be like the streamers, even though I, you know, having played this streamer specific build and, you know, previous streamer specific builds and supposedly the best build in the game, and, you know, I'm at the point where this build is totally useless. I can't play it anymore. It's level 80 and it's still getting its ass kicked. So, you know, and I've tinkered with it to try and make it more mana effective. You know, it's like, okay, I'm willing to lose a few points of damage to be more mana effective and be a little bit more defensive so I can live longer and use my abilities, because at the end of the day, is 10 points of damage going to make that much difference? And still I'm dying, so obviously. But this is the kind of game, at least, one of the adventure games I like. I could do Baldur's Gate, or Divinity, or the new one, Solasta. But there you're dealing with lots of parties, and it's harder, and you're worrying about, is it going to crash the computer? Because even with my new spaceship super recommended $1,000 computer, it has trouble running Path of Exile in Minecraft. So I assume part of the reason why these people are so much better than me is, they have the wherewithal to spend $10,000 on a computer and spend, $100 to buy things from, Korean miners or whatever. Anyways, at the end of the day, I would not recommend this game. I played it. This is probably the last time I'm going to play it. There are other games I want to play, like Baldur's Gate when it's finished, Celesta, maybe Divinity, because I think Divinity is on sale right now and I've never played it. There's some Civ type games, and I don't know if there's any interest in you guys watching me play video games. So yeah, so anyways, let us say goodbye to Path of Exile. And my final review of playing this game since 2013 is: don't spend the money. Don't play this game. It's got its core group, and you're never going to be as good as them. So just take that time and effort and money and energy and frustration and put it on another game. So happy No Shave November. If you appreciate this content and want to see more, please comment down below. If you don't appreciate this content and want me to shut the fuck up, comment down below. If you do appreciate me and want to see more, maybe consider subscribing. If you subscribe and help me hit 500 subs by the end of the year, I will do something crazy. And since it is the holidays, maybe consider supporting me through the PayPal. There will be a Patreon in 2021. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I am working on one with a local artist, and I will talk to you later. Stay exiled. Something.